Have you ever felt that invisible weight pressing down on your chest? That silent, nagging pressure that grows heavier with each passing day as you stare at the same walls, pay the same bills, and watch your dreams slowly drift beyond your reach? It's that voice inside whispering, "I can't afford it. I don't have enough. I'm not worthy of more." Has this ever happened to you? That moment when you look around and see others advancing while something unseen seems to hold you back? I know that feeling. We all do. It's the gap between who we are and who we know, deep down, we were meant to be. But what if I told you that this invisible barrier isn't made of your circumstances, your bank account, or your past? What if the only thing truly standing between you and abundance is the frequency you're operating at? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you attract wealth into your life. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the globe. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. The truth about wealth creation isn't taught in schools. The wealthy elite understand something profound that most people never grasp. You don't need to wait until you're rich to act rich. You need to act as if you already are rich, for the universe to bend to your energy, certainty, and faith. Your mindset today determines your reality tomorrow. Think about this for a moment. What if abundance isn't something you chase, but something you embody? What if the wealthy aren't lucky? They're simply vibrating at a frequency that naturally attracts resources, opportunities, and connections. Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling completely different. Visualize yourself moving through the world, not as someone struggling to make ends meet, but as someone who knows with absolute certainty that everything you need is already flowing toward you. Can you feel how your posture would change? How your decisions would shift? How different people would respond to your presence? This isn't about pretending or putting on a facade. It's about aligning your internal state with the prosperity you deserve. It's about reprogramming the subconscious beliefs that have been silently sabotaging your financial reality. What's fascinating is that when you study the truly wealthy, not just those with money, but those with abundance in all areas of life, you'll notice they carry themselves with a particular certainty long before external circumstances confirm their success. They understand that the outer world is merely a reflection of the inner. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. And when you shift who you are at your core, something magical begins to happen. The transformation begins when you recognize that poverty isn't actually the absence of money. It's the absence of vision. This revelation changed everything for me when I finally understood it. You see, the invisible door keeping abundance at bay isn't made of steel or wood. It's constructed entirely of thoughts. When you wake up each morning and look at your circumstances with frustration, you're reinforcing the walls of that mental prison. Each time you think, "I don't have enough," you're adding another lock to the door. Each worry about bills becomes another barrier between you and the wealth that's waiting for you on the other side. What's fascinating about this journey toward abundance is the hidden truth most financial advisors never mention. The poor consistently focus on what is, while the rich consistently visualize what could be. It's this fundamental difference in perception that creates entirely different realities. If you're ready to transform your relationship with abundance, hit that subscribe button now. I share powerful insights and practical techniques that can help you activate your internal magnet and attract the prosperity you deserve. Imagine walking down a dark hallway. On the other side is light, but you don't know it exists. You only see shadows. You only hear echoes of fear. That darkness is your mind when it's fixated on scarcity. But each time you dare to act as if you're already wealthy, a crack appears in that door and light begins to filter through. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the psychology behind this mindset shift. Have you ever watched a truly great actor completely transform into their character? They don't wait until filming to become that person. They walk, talk, think, and breathe as that character long before the cameras roll. And what happens? Everyone around them responds to that embodied identity as if it were real. Your journey to abundance works exactly the same way. You must embody the abundant being that already exists within you. This isn't about pretending. It's about tuning into the frequency of what you desire. The universe doesn't respond to your words or wishes. It responds to your vibration. Think about the impact this realization had on my own life. For years, I struggled financially, always feeling one step behind. But the breakthrough came when I stopped chasing wealth and started embodying it. I began caring for my energy, my environment, my decisions. I walked with the confidence of someone who had already succeeded, even when my bank account didn't yet reflect it. I spoke with gratitude instead of complaint. I made decisions from faith instead of fear. And something remarkable happened. My reality began shifting to match this new identity. Opportunities appeared that I couldn't see before. People responded differently to my presence. Resources found their way to me through unexpected channels. The revelation here is that when you align your thoughts, words, and emotions, when all three are speaking the same language of abundance, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect back this integrated signal. But when you say, "I am abundant," while feeling scarcity in your chest, you're sending mixed messages to the universe, and nothing changes. This isn't mystical thinking, it's the mechanics of how our minds create our experience. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently embody wealth consciousness, your actions automatically align with that identity, and your decisions begin creating the very prosperity you're embodying. Write in the comments, "I'm stepping through the door," if you've recognized that invisible barrier in your own life and are ready to move beyond it. What we've been exploring reveals a fundamental insight that most people miss entirely. Your reality isn't a wall you're constantly pushing against. It's a mirror reflecting back precisely what you project. Look around you right now. Your home, your relationships, your bank account, your career path, none of these are actually the cause of your life experience. They're all reflections of what's happening within your mind. This mirror principle is perhaps the most powerful revelation on the journey to abundance. When you wake up in the morning and mentally repeat, "I don't have enough luck," the universe doesn't argue with you. It gives you evidence to confirm that belief. If you say, "Life is hard," the mirror shows you more hardship. But if you dare to declare, "Everything aligns in my favor," even before you see proof, something begins to shift, because the mirror doesn't wait for results. It responds to your belief. Life doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you reflect. And what you reflect stems from how you see yourself at the core. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is a decisive mindset shift that preceded the external change. Imagine holding a mirror in your hands right now. If you smile, it returns a smile. If you frown, it reflects tension. You can't punch the reflection to change it. You must change yourself first. This is exactly how the universe operates with your financial reality. Most people struggle against their reflection. They work tirelessly, complain about the system, curse their luck, but they forget that the root of all change isn't out there in the world. It's in the mind. The moment you grasp this truth, your relationship with money transforms completely. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining what acting rich truly means. There's a profound misconception that needs to be cleared away immediately. Acting rich doesn't mean spending money you don't have or creating a facade of wealth. That path leads to debt and disappointment. True wealth consciousness is about thinking, deciding, and vibrating as someone who knows abundance is their natural state. It's about walking with the calm confidence of someone who trusts, with the gaze of someone who has already found their path. The rich act from abundance because they see themselves as wealthy before having money. The poor wait for money to feel rich, which is precisely why it never arrives. This psychological reversal is the hidden catalyst behind every rags to riches story you've ever heard. Think of water for a moment. When a river flows toward the ocean, it doesn't question whether it will reach its destination. It simply advances, trusting in the current. That's faith in motion. That's the mindset that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. I discovered this principle when studying the psychology of self-made millionaires. Almost without exception, they operated from a place of certainty long before their bank accounts reflected their vision. They made decisions as if they were already where they intended to be. Their internal landscape shifted first, and the external world eventually reorganized to match it. The journey toward abundance begins with this fundamental question. Are you waiting to have money to feel abundant? Or are you cultivating abundance now to attract money? Your answer reveals everything about your financial future. What's remarkable is how quickly your reality begins to shift once you align your self-image with prosperity. When you walk, speak, and make decisions as someone who is naturally abundant, the mirror of reality has no choice but to reflect that back to you. Your energy becomes magnetic, drawing opportunities that previously seemed invisible. The blueprint for transformation isn't complicated, but it requires consistent internal work. Begin seeing yourself differently today. Make one decision from abundance rather than scarcity. Watch how differently people respond to you. Notice how your energy changes. Type, "I am the mirror maker," in the comments if you're ready to take control of what your reality reflects back to you. Let's explore how this mirror principle manifests in your daily life. The mirror of reality doesn't just reflect who you are right now, it's constantly responding to the shifts in your inner landscape. Today, your life reflects the thoughts you held yesterday. But what if you could consciously reshape that reflection? What if you could deliberately craft the image that your reality mirror displays back to you? This insight reveals an extraordinary blueprint for transformation that few ever discover. The catalyst for change isn't fighting against your circumstances. It's altering what you project into the mirror. Start with something seemingly small, but incredibly powerful. Express genuine gratitude for what you already have. Speak with love rather than criticism. Dress with dignity even when no one's watching. Walk with the posture of someone who carries purpose in their bones. Each of these subtle shifts sends a ripple through your energetic field that the universe must acknowledge. The mirror has no choice but to reflect back these new projections. I've witnessed this remarkable phenomenon countless times in my own journey and in the lives of thousands I've worked with. One client began dressing for the position she wanted rather than the one she had. Within 3 months, she received a promotion that had eluded her for years. The shift wasn't in her wardrobe, it was in her self-perception. The revolution begins within. Your external reality is simply waiting for your internal reality to change first. This is the awakening that separates those who perpetually struggle from those who seem to effortlessly attract abundance. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring a critical distinction that most manifestation teachers completely miss. The profound difference between desire and certainty. Most people want abundance, but surprisingly few genuinely expect it. This distinction, though subtle, changes everything about how the universe responds to you. Desire without certainty is like a boat with a beautiful sail but no wind. It looks promising but goes nowhere. Wishing is looking toward the horizon with hope. Certainty is looking with absolute confidence, knowing the destination is already responding to your intention. The universe doesn't react to your wishes or pleas, it responds to the frequency of your conviction. Think about this revelation. When you tell yourself, "I'm going to be rich someday," but deep down doubt it, your mind sends two conflicting signals to the universe, one of faith and one of fear. The universe, confused by this mixed message, doesn't know which to honor. That's why circumstances seem to stagnate. That's why nothing changes. It's not that the universe is ignoring you, it's that it cannot decipher your contradictory broadcast. Subscribe now to join our community of abundance creators. Each video provides you with another piece of the manifestation puzzle, helping you build a complete framework for attracting wealth into your life. The day your thought, word, and emotion all synchronize to say the same thing, reality will have no choice but to reflect it. That's certainty. That's power. That's the catalyst that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. I discovered this principle when studying people who seemed to manifest effortlessly. They didn't hope for results. They expected them with such conviction that doubt couldn't penetrate their consciousness. Their certainty became a force field that repelled contradictory outcomes. They lived as if their desired reality was a foregone conclusion, not a questionable possibility. This isn't blind optimism, it's energetic alignment. When your thoughts, words, and feelings are synchronized on the same frequency, you become an undeniable force in the universe. Everything around you begins reorganizing to match your internal state. Certainty doesn't come from external proof. It comes from internal knowing. It's remembering rather than acquiring. The wealthy don't wait for evidence to feel certain. They generate evidence through their certainty. This reversal of the conventional approach is why so few break through to true abundance. Drop a certainty activator in the comments if you're ready to stop merely desiring wealth and start expecting it with unshakable conviction. This certainty we're exploring isn't some abstract concept. It's a practical daily choice that reshapes your entire reality. Think of it this way. Your life today isn't reflecting who you are right now. It's mirroring the thoughts, beliefs, and energetic patterns you held yesterday. The beautiful revelation in this truth is that if you intentionally change your inner landscape today, tomorrow's reflection will show something entirely new looking back at you. This transformation doesn't require massive, overnight change. In fact, the most powerful shifts often begin with seemingly small adjustments that create ripple effects throughout your life. Start with something as simple as expressing genuine gratitude for what you currently have, rather than focusing on what's lacking. Speak with love and intention instead of criticism or complaint. Dress with dignity even when no one's watching. Walk with the posture of someone who knows their purpose and path. These subtle shifts might seem insignificant on the surface, but they're actually profound energetic declarations to the universe. Each small act is like dropping a pebble into the still waters of your consciousness. The ripples extend outward, touching every aspect of your experience. I remember working with a client who was deeply entrenched in financial struggle. We began with just 5 minutes each morning where she would stand tall, dress her best, and speak aloud 3 things she was grateful for. Within weeks, her colleagues began responding to her differently. Within months, opportunities appeared that had been invisible before. The external world was simply responding to her. Internal adjustment. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the mechanics of how this reflection process works. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what's physically happening and what you're vividly imagining. This neurological fact is the hidden cornerstone of all manifestation. When you consistently visualize yourself as prosperous, confident, and abundant, your nervous system begins creating new neural pathways that literally reorganize your perception and behavior. Behind the scenes, your subconscious mind is constantly scanning your environment for evidence that confirms your deeply held beliefs. If you believe money is scarce and hard to come by, your brain will filter your experience to show you proof of that belief, even ignoring contradictory evidence. But when you deliberately reshape your inner reflection to align with abundance, your perception shifts, allowing you to notice opportunities that were always there but previously invisible to you. The journey of reshaping your reflection isn't about denying reality. It's about understanding that reality is far more flexible and responsive than most people realize. Every great achievement, business, invention, or fortune began as an internal image held with unwavering clarity by someone who refused to accept the current reflection as permanent. What's fascinating about this process is that it creates a powerful feedback loop. As you change your inner world, small shifts begin appearing in your outer experience. These shifts, when recognized and appreciated, strengthen your new self-image, which in turn creates even more significant external changes. This ascending spiral of transformation accelerates with each cycle. I've witnessed this remarkable pattern in countless success stories. The breakthrough moment always comes when someone stops fighting against their current reflection and instead focuses all their energy on projecting a new image with such clarity and consistency that the mirror of reality has no choice but to adjust accordingly. Drop Mirror Maker in the comments if you're ready to take full responsibility for the reflection your life is showing you right now. This journey toward abundance reveals another profound truth: the magnetic power of certainty. Think about an actual magnet for a moment. It doesn't chase after metal objects, doesn't plead with them to come closer, doesn't doubt its inherent ability to attract. It simply exists in its natural state of magnetism, and metal objects respond to its field without resistance or hesitation. Your certainty works exactly the same way. When you operate from a place of absolute knowing rather than hoping or wishing, you create an energetic field around you that naturally draws in corresponding circumstances, people, and opportunities. This isn't mystical thinking, it's the practical application of energetic alignment. I've observed this phenomenon countless times in business breakthroughs. When an entrepreneur shifts from desperate pursuit of clients to calm certainty in their value, the market responds differently. Their confidence isn't arrogance, it's alignment. Their certainty isn't delusion, it's energetic coherence. And the universe responds accordingly. The revelation that transformed my own financial journey was understanding that when my thoughts, words, and emotions all broadcast the same signal, reality has no choice but to reflect this harmony back to me. But when I say, I am abundant, while feeling scarcity in my gut or speaking words of lack, I create energetic static that blocks manifestation. Think about someone you know who seems to effortlessly attract good fortune. If you look closely, you'll notice they aren't necessarily more talented or hardworking than others. They simply operate from an unshakable core of certainty about who they are and what they deserve. Their secret isn't luck, it's alignment. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining how certainty manifests through action. This is where many people miss the crucial connection. Certainty isn't passive waiting, it's active movement from a place of knowing. Faith without action is simply wishful thinking. The most powerful catalyst for transformation is taking a single step today, no matter how small, from a place of absolute certainty. Make that call you've been postponing. Send that message to the potential client or partner. Write that business plan or creative project. But Here's the key distinction. Do it with the energetic vibration that it's already accomplished, not with desperate hope for a particular outcome. What happens next feels almost magical, though it's actually the natural law of energetic correspondence. The air around you seems to shift. People who can support your vision suddenly appear in your life. Opportunities that were previously invisible begin knocking at your door. Not because you're chasing them, but because your certainty is magnetically drawing them to you. I remember working with a client who had been stuck in financial limitation for years. The pivotal shift came when she stopped waiting for external validation and took one decisive action from a place of complete inner certainty. She reached out to a potential business partner not from desperation, but from calm knowing. Within days, a collaboration formed that transformed both their trajectories. The opportunity had always been available. Her certainty made it visible. This principle reveals the hidden architecture behind every overnight success story. Behind the scenes, there was always a period where someone acted with unwavering certainty before external circumstances confirmed their vision. They didn't wait for permission or perfect conditions. They moved with the quiet confidence of someone who already knows the outcome. The blueprint for activating this magnetic certainty begins with identifying one small action you can take today that aligns with your vision of abundance. As you take that step, consciously align your thoughts. This is already working out perfectly. Your emotions, feeling the calm satisfaction of knowing, and your words, speaking with gratitude for what's unfolding. This three-part alignment creates an unbreakable circuit of manifestation. Drop magnetic certainty in the comments if you've identified one specific action you're committing to take today from this aligned state of knowing. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of abundance, we must confront perhaps the most powerful hidden obstacle on this path, one that operates silently beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. There's a force that extinguishes dreams before they even have the chance to breathe life. And surprisingly, it's not the lack of opportunities, not insufficient education, not even the absence of financial resources. It's the profound, often unconscious belief that you simply don't deserve more. This revelation transformed my understanding of why so many brilliant, talented people remain stuck in limitation. In your own journey, at some pivotal moment, perhaps in childhood, maybe through a painful rejection or via subtle social conditioning, someone or something implanted the belief that you weren't enough, that you didn't deserve abundance, that prosperity was for other people. That moment created an invisible ceiling that has been silently governing your financial reality ever since. The tragic irony is that once this unworthiness programming takes root, each time the universe attempts to deliver greater prosperity, your mind automatically rejects it without you even realizing what's happening. It's like having a self-sabotage mechanism installed at the deepest level of your operating system. No technique, strategy, or action plan can override this fundamental block until you address its root. I've witnessed this pattern countless times in coaching sessions with high achievers who intellectually understand wealth principles but emotionally can't break through their limitations. Behind the scenes, their unworthiness programming is cancelling out their conscious intentions before manifestation can complete its cycle. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring a profound truth that can instantly dissolve this barrier once you fully embody it. Worthiness isn't something you need to earn, achieve, or purchase. It's something you need to remember. This distinction changes everything. You were born inherently deserving of abundance. Look at the natural world for confirmation of this truth. The sun doesn't wake up questioning whether it has the right to shine today. The ocean doesn't ask permission before allowing its waves to crash upon the shore. Flowers don't experience doubt before blooming in their full glory. These elements simply express their innate nature without hesitation or apology. So why do humans, supposedly the most evolved creatures on the planet, doubt our worthiness to receive abundance? This question unveils a fascinating journey into consciousness. We are the only beings who can override our natural state of deservingness with learned limitations. But that same consciousness gives us the power to reclaim our energetic birthright. Think about what happens when you drop the narrative of unworthiness and simply allow yourself to receive. Everything shifts. The universe isn't holding abundance away from you. You've been unconsciously pushing it away through the hidden belief that you don't deserve it. When you release this false programming, prosperity naturally flows toward you without resistance, just as water naturally flows downhill when obstacles are removed. The transformation occurs when you begin to honor yourself at the deepest level. When you stop begging for love, attention, or recognition, when you cease waiting for external validation and start affirming your worthiness from within. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment with your true nature. The universe doesn't reward those who diminish themselves. It responds to those who recognize their divine connection to the same creative force that fashioned the stars. This reclamation process begins with something as simple as looking in the mirror each morning and declaring, "I deserve an extraordinary life." Not from a place of lack or desperation, but from quiet knowing. You're not asking for anything that isn't already yours by birthright. You're simply claiming your energetic inheritance. Type "reclaiming my birthright" in the comments if you're ready to release the unworthiness programming that's been silently sabotaging your abundance. This reclamation of your worth isn't something that requires years of therapy or complex spiritual practices. The activation begins with something remarkably simple, yet profoundly transformative: speaking to yourself with genuine respect. This isn't about inflating your ego, it's about aligning with your authentic essence. Each morning, look directly into your own eyes in the mirror and declare with quiet conviction, "I deserve a magnificent life." The first few times you do this, your conditioning might fight back. That inner critic may whisper that you're being foolish or arrogant. But this declaration isn't about superiority, it's about truth. You're not asking for something that belongs to someone else. You're simply reclaiming what has always been your energetic inheritance. This, a daily ritual, becomes a powerful reset for your subconscious programming. I remember working with a client who couldn't break through her income ceiling despite extraordinary talent and work ethic. The breakthrough came when she realized she'd been unconsciously sabotaging opportunities because she didn't believe she deserved success. We began with this simple mirror practice, and within weeks, her entire energy shifted. Opportunities she'd previously rejected began flowing back to her, not because the external world had changed, but because her internal frequency had transformed. This ritual becomes the gateway to your energetic recalibration. When you honor yourself at this fundamental level, something shifts in your field. The universe doesn't see your bank account or your past. It perceives only the frequency you're broadcasting right now. And when that frequency aligns with worthiness, doors begin opening that previously seemed sealed shut. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the hidden language through which you and the universe communicate. Behind the scenes of manifestation lies a profound revelation. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. This discovery completely transforms how you approach abundance. Every thought you hold, every emotion you repeat, every word you speak is being translated into pure energetic frequency. When you say, "I can't afford that," the universe doesn't hear the complaint. It hears the command and faithfully executes it by creating more experiences where you can't afford things. When you declare, "I'm afraid of failing," the universe doesn't feel sympathy. It senses vibration and multiplies that frequency in your experience. This explains why some people seem stuck in recurring patterns despite their conscious desires to change. They're unknowingly broadcasting contradictory signals. Their words might say abundance, but their dominant frequency is transmitting scarcity. The universe, being a perfect mirror, can only reflect back the strongest signal it receives. The blueprint for transformation emerges when you understand that your internal dialogue isn't just mental chatter. It's a continuous stream of creation commands being sent into the field of possibilities. Your words are literally programming your reality. This isn't metaphorical. It's the operating system of consciousness. Consider this revelation. You don't need to shout to be heard by the universe. You simply need to align your thoughts, emotions, and words to create a coherent signal. When these three elements speak the same language, you create an energetic broadcast so clear and powerful that the universe responds with remarkable precision. This alignment begins with mindful awareness of your habitual language patterns. Notice how often you use phrases that reinforce limitation. I can't, it's too hard, I don't know how. Each of these seemingly innocent statements is actually a powerful command to your subconscious and to the universe. When you shift these phrases to ones that open possibility, I am receiving, the path is revealing itself, resources are flowing to me now, you fundamentally alter your energetic transmission. Drop frequency shift activated in the comments if you're ready to become conscious of the hidden commands you've been sending to the universe through your everyday language. The power of language in creating your reality runs deeper than most people ever realize. There's a hidden architecture to how manifestation works, and it starts with understanding that your words aren't just expressions of thought. They are actual seeds being planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. This garden of your mind doesn't discriminate between what you want and what you don't want. It simply grows whatever you consistently plant there. When you repeatedly say things like, I never have enough money, or good opportunities never come my way, you're not just describing your current situation. You're literally planting seeds that will grow into more experiences that confirm these statements. Your mind follows a simple rule. Whatever you feed with attention and emotion will expand. What's fascinating about this process is that there is no such thing as an empty word or a casual thought. Every yes or no you utter is a decree to your subconscious. Every thought you repeat regularly becomes an invocation, a calling forth of corresponding circumstances. The ancient wisdom traditions understood this perfectly when they taught that the word is the creative principle of the universe. I've observed this phenomenon countless times in studying successful people. Behind their achievements is always a consistent pattern of language that preceded their breakthrough. Long before external evidence appeared, they were already planting the seeds of success through their carefully chosen words and thoughts. The revelation that transformed my own relationship with abundance was realizing that my habitual language wasn't just reflecting my reality, it was actively creating it. Each complaint was a command. Each expression of lack was an instruction to create more lack. Each declaration of impossibility was programming my subconscious to find evidence that confirmed this limitation. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how to practically transform your energetic language. This is where theory meets practical application, where insight becomes transformation. The blueprint is surprisingly simple, though it requires consistent practice and awareness. To change your reality, you must first change your energetic language. This doesn't mean using affirmations that feel completely disconnected from your current experience. Instead, it means making subtle but powerful shifts in how you frame your experience. Stop saying, I don't have enough money, and start saying, I am receiving more resources. Each day, Stop affirming, "I don't know how to achieve this," and declare, "The path is revealing itself to me step by step." The magic happens when you make these shifts with faith, even when your logical mind doubts or questions. This is the bridge between your current reality and the reality you're creating. Your rational mind will always look for evidence based on past experience, but your creative mind operates from possibility rather than precedent. Think of it as reprogramming your personal operating system. Just as a computer responds to specific code language, your subconscious responds to the language patterns you consistently use. When you consciously upgrade this language, you're essentially installing new software that will generate different outputs in your experience. I remember working with a client who had been stuck in financial struggle for years. We began by simply documenting every phrase she used about money for 1 week. The revelation was stunning. Over 80% of her statements about finances were framed in limitation, scarcity, or impossibility. We systematically transformed each of these statements, creating a new money vocabulary that emphasized flow, possibility, and abundance. Within months, opportunities she couldn't previously see became visible and accessible. This transformation isn't just psychological, it's energetic. Your words carry vibration that ripples out into the quantum field of possibilities, attracting corresponding experiences back to you. Scientists are now confirming what mystics have known for millennia, that consciousness itself is creative, and language is one of its most powerful tools. Share your most common limiting phrase in the comments along with, "I'm upgrading my language," if you're ready to transform the seeds you're planting in your mind. Let's explore what may be the most fascinating mechanism behind this entire process of transformation: the invisible magnet that exists within you. This isn't metaphorical, it's the energetic reality of how you interact with the universe. Inside you is a magnetic force that responds with perfect precision to every thought and emotion you generate, pulling into your experience exactly what matches your internal frequency. Most people live completely unaware of this magnetic force. They perceive life as a constant uphill battle, feeling that they must struggle for opportunities, fight for resources, and overcome resistance at every turn. They believe that money and happiness depend on external factors beyond their control. What they don't realize is that the true engine of their experience is operating within them, silently determining what they attract or repel. Think of this internal magnet as the hidden architect of your circumstances. It doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply attracts whatever resonates with its current setting. When you operate from fear, doubt, or unworthiness, your magnet develops a kind of energetic rust that repels the very things you desire. It's like trying to attract gold with an oxidized magnet. Everything gets repelled. I remember the profound shift in my own journey when I discovered this principle. For years I had been working harder, pushing more forcefully, trying to make things happen through sheer will. But the breakthrough came when I realized that my internal magnetic field was contradicting my external efforts. I was trying to attract abundance while broadcasting a frequency of scarcity and unworthiness. The revelation transformed how I approached everything. Instead of focusing solely on external actions, I began attending to my internal magnetic field, consciously cultivating thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that aligned with what I wanted to attract rather than what I wanted to avoid. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the science of alignment. Your magnetic power reaches its full potential only when your mind and emotions synchronize completely. When these two aspects of your being send contradictory signals, when your mind says abundance, but your emotional state broadcasts scarcity, You create interference patterns that cancel out your manifestation power. Think of it as transmitting on two different radio frequencies simultaneously. The universe can't clearly receive either signal because they're jamming each other. But when your thoughts and emotions align with perfect coherence, your internal magnet cleans. Itself strengthens and begins attracting abundance without resistance or delay. Each positive thought you consciously cultivate, each emotion of confidence you genuinely feel, each vision of success you vividly imagine, all of these invisibly but powerfully charge your magnetic field. This isn't wishful thinking, it's energetic calibration. You're literally adjusting your frequency to match what you want to attract. The blueprint for transformation is remarkably simple, though it requires consistent practice. Begin by visualizing your internal magnet. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Now imagine this magnet beginning to purify itself, shedding layers of doubt, fear, and limitation. Feel it growing stronger, brighter, more powerful. Sense its pull extending further into the universe, drawing toward you exactly what resonates with your highest vision. This visualization isn't just a mental exercise. It's a reprogramming of your energetic signature. When practiced consistently, it fundamentally alters how you broadcast to the universe and consequently what the universe reflects back to you. What's remarkable about this process is that you don't need to force external circumstances to change. You don't need to chase opportunities or manipulate situations. Like the sun that doesn't pursue the earth but naturally creates gravity through its mass, your aligned magnetic field creates an attractive force that draws experiences, people, and resources to you without struggle. Type magnetic alignment activated in the comments if you're ready to consciously work with your internal magnet instead of fighting against external circumstances. The true power of this magnetic principle reveals itself in daily practice. Every single day that you choose to act, think, and feel like someone who is already abundant, every decision you make from a place of prosperity rather than scarcity, your internal magnet grows stronger. This isn't a one-time shift, but a consistent recalibration that builds momentum with each aligned choice. Think of it like strengthening a muscle. You don't become physically strong through one intense workout. You develop strength through consistent training over time. Similarly, your magnetic attraction power intensifies through daily alignment with abundance consciousness. Each moment you catch yourself in scarcity thinking and deliberately shift to abundance perspective, you're essentially doing a rep that strengthens your manifestation muscle. What's remarkable about this journey is that the process becomes increasingly effortless. The more powerful your magnet becomes, the less you need to force external circumstances. Life begins flowing with a natural ease that previously seemed impossible. Opportunities appear without struggle. Resources arrive through unexpected channels. Connections form that accelerate your progress in ways you couldn't have orchestrated through effort alone. This isn't some new age fantasy. It's the practical application of energy principles that have guided masters throughout history. The profound revelation that transformed countless lives, including my own, is that this magnetic force hasn't been absent from your life. It's always been within you. You don't need to acquire it or earn it. You simply need to align with it and remember how to use it consciously. Behind the scenes of every lucky break or fortunate coincidence is this magnetic principle in action. What appears as random good fortune to others is actually the natural result of aligned energy to those who understand this hidden mechanism. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing what may be the most crucial element of the entire manifestation process, the power of clear intention. Your invisible magnet, no matter how powerful, remains unfocused without proper guidance. Without direction, you'll attract random circumstances, people, and opportunities that don't necessarily contribute to your highest vision. Think of someone with a powerful personality who lacks clear direction. They might draw many people into their orbit, but without purpose, these connections lead nowhere meaningful. The same principle applies to your magnetic manifestation power. Without the compass of clear intention, your energy disperses rather than concentrates. This explains why some people seem to generate plenty of activity in their lives without making real progress. They've activated their magnetic power but haven't directed it towards specific outcomes. Their energy is diffuse, scattered across too many possibilities, never concentrated enough to manifest anything substantial. Intention is the compass that transforms your magnet from a general attractive force into an instrument of conscious creation. When you know exactly what you're calling forth, when you can see it, feel it, and hold it with unwavering clarity, your magnetic field organizes itself around that vision. Everything not aligned with your intention naturally falls away, while everything that supports it is magnetically drawn toward you. I remember working with a client who had plenty of charisma and natural magnetism, but couldn't seem to translate it into tangible success. The breakthrough came when we crystallized his scattered energy into one clear, compelling intention. Within months, opportunities that perfectly aligned with this vision began appearing, while distractions that had previously consumed his attention naturally faded away. The revelation here is that your intention acts like a focusing lens for your energy. Without it, you're like a powerful lighthouse with no specific direction, illuminating everything but guiding nothing. With clear intention, your energy becomes laser-focused, cutting through obstacles and illuminating the exact path to your desired outcome. If you've recognized how your magnet has been operating without proper guidance, type "directing my compass" in the comments below. This power of intention becomes truly transformative when we understand what genuine clarity actually means. Most people operate with vague, fuzzy desires that lack definition or emotional resonance. They say things like, "I want more money," or "I want to be successful," without specifying what that really means to them. These generic wishes create generic results, or often no results at all. Acting as if you're already rich requires having crystal clear, precisely defined intentions that engage all your senses and emotions. It's not enough to say, "I want financial freedom." You must feel what that freedom would be like in your body. You must visualize with vivid detail what your day looks like when you're living that reality. You must walk, speak, and make decisions as if this intention is already manifesting in your physical experience. Think about an architect designing a building. They don't create vague sketches and hope for the best. They draft detailed blueprints that specify every measurement, material, and connection point. Your intention works the same way. The more detailed and specific your internal blueprint, the more precisely the universe can match it in physical form. I discovered this principle through studying individuals who manifested extraordinary breakthroughs in their lives. The common thread wasn't luck or connections or even talent. It was the unusual clarity with which they held their vision. While others operated with foggy, generalized wishes, these manifestation masters crafted intentions so clear you could practically touch them. What's fascinating is how this clarity creates an evolutionary shift in your relationship with the universe. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions all perfectly align with your intention, something that appears almost magical begins to unfold. The universe ceases to be this chaotic, random force working against you and becomes a silent, powerful collaborator working with you. This revelation completely transforms your journey toward abundance. Suddenly, opportunities begin appearing in places that previously seemed barren. People with exactly the connections, knowledge, or resources you need show up in your life as if by perfect orchestration. Ideas and insights arrive precisely when you require them. Timing itself seems to bend in your favor. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the mechanics behind this shift. What's actually happening is a fundamental change in your perceptual filters. Your brain processes millions of bits of information every second, but your conscious mind can only handle about 40 bits. This means you're constantly filtering out most of reality based on what you believe is possible or relevant. When you operate with crystal clear intention, you essentially reprogram these filters to notice and prioritize anything that aligns with your vision. Opportunities that were always there but previously invisible to you suddenly become apparent. It's not that the universe is magically creating new circumstances, it's that your newly calibrated awareness is finally perceiving what was already available. I experienced this phenomenon dramatically in my own journey. After years of struggling financially, I crafted a detailed vision of the specific impact I wanted to make and the lifestyle that would support it. Within weeks, I began noticing connections and opportunities that had likely been there all along, but were previously filtered out by my scarcity-focused perception. The ancient wisdom traditions understood this principle perfectly. As one master teacher expressed it, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. The teacher doesn't materialize from thin air. They were always there, but only become visible when your consciousness is prepared to recognize them. This clarity principle operates through a fascinating feedback loop. As you hold your intention with increasing specificity, you begin noticing evidence that confirms its unfolding. This evidence strengthens your belief, which further clarifies your intention, which in turn attracts more confirming evidence. This ascending spiral accelerates your manifestation process exponentially. Share "Clarity Creates Reality" in the comments if you're ready to define your intention with such crystal clear precision that the universe has no choice but to respond. With this clear intention now established in your consciousness, we arrive at perhaps the most crucial element in the entire manifestation process, the river of action. Here's where many spiritual seekers and abundance enthusiasts get stuck, floating in beautiful visions that never materialize in their physical reality. Intention, no matter how clear or powerful, remains just a dream suspended in the air without the force of action behind it. The universe responds to your energetic vibration, yes, but it also responds to the physical movement of your hands and feet. There's a tangible power in taking concrete steps that cannot be replaced by visualization alone. Think of it this way: your intention is the blueprint, but your action is the actual construction. Both are essential for the building to exist in physical reality. Imagine a river that begins high in the mountains. It doesn't contemplate the landscape or wonder if it's worthy of reaching the ocean. It doesn't wait for permission or perfect conditions. It simply flows, adapting to each obstacle, finding pathways around rocks, carving new channels when necessary, but always moving forward. This river of action is the channel that connects your desires with your tangible reality. What I've observed repeatedly in studying wealth psychology is a fascinating pattern. Many people become perpetual waiters. They wait for the perfect sign, the ideal circumstance, the complete absence of risk, or explicit permission from someone else before they act. The result is stagnant energy and dreams that die before they're even born. The revelation that transformed my own journey came when I realized that the universe doesn't care if you're ready or if conditions are perfect. It simply responds to movement. When you take action, even imperfect action, even small steps that seem insignificant, you generate momentum in the field of possibilities. This movement creates ripples that begin rearranging circumstances in ways you couldn't possibly orchestrate through planning alone. Behind the scenes of every success story is someone who simply started moving before they felt completely ready. They took one step, then another, often without seeing the complete path ahead. Their action itself became the force that cleared the path before them. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the psychology of momentum. There's a fascinating principle at work when you begin taking consistent action toward your vision, a compounding effect that accelerates over time. The first steps are often the hardest because you're moving against inertia, but each subsequent step becomes easier as you build momentum that carries you forward. Think of pushing a car that's stalled. The initial push requires significant effort, but once the car starts moving, it takes far less energy to keep it going. Your journey to abundance works the same way. The hardest part is overcoming that initial resistance to action. Once you've generated movement, opportunities begin appearing that propel you forward with increasing ease. What's remarkable about this process is that you don't need to see the complete path before you begin. In fact, the path often reveals itself only through movement. It's like walking at night with a flashlight. You can only see the next few steps ahead, but as you move forward, new terrain continuously comes into view. Had you waited to see the entire path before starting, you would never have moved at all. I remember a critical turning point in my own financial journey. I had a vision for creating a new income stream, but could only see the first few unclear steps. Instead of waiting for perfect clarity, I simply began moving in that general direction. Within weeks, connections and opportunities I couldn't have anticipated revealed themselves, not because of some magical intervention, but because my action had created a current that naturally attracted these elements. The blueprint for transformation is clear. Define your intention with crystal clarity. Then immediately take one concrete step in that direction, no matter how small. Don't wait for permission or perfect conditions. The river doesn't ask if you're ready, it only waits for you to flow. Type "in motion now" in the comments if you're committing to taking one specific action toward your abundance vision today, no matter how small it might seem. As this river of action begins flowing in your life, you'll encounter a fascinating shift in your perception, one that reveals perhaps the most overlooked aspect of abundance creation. Life is actually overflowing with opportunities at every moment, but most people fail to recognize them because they aren't tuned to the right frequency. It's like having a radio set to the wrong station. The music is playing, but you can't hear it. Our inner vision becomes clouded by doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs that act as filters, screening out the very opportunities that could transform our circumstances. What most people don't realize is that the universe is constantly reflecting back what we are. Each person we encounter, each situation that arises, each door that appears to open or close is simply mirroring our internal energetic state. When your mind is aligned with scarcity, you'll perceive obstacles everywhere. When your mind is tuned to abundance, you'll recognize opportunities in the same exact circumstances. This revelation completely transforms how you navigate your journey toward prosperity. Think about someone you know who seems to get all the breaks in life. Upon closer examination, you'll often discover they aren't necessarily more talented or hardworking than others. They simply perceive opportunities where others see only problems or dead ends. Their inner vision is calibrated differently, allowing them to recognize potential where most people see nothing of value. I witnessed this phenomenon dramatically when mentoring two entrepreneurs facing identical market challenges. One saw only problems, competition, and reasons why success was unlikely. The other perceived the same situation as filled with openings, possibilities, and untapped potential. Within a year, their outcomes diverged dramatically, not because the external landscape differed, but because their perception created entirely different experiences. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how to practically train your inner vision to recognize abundance everywhere. This is where theory meets transformative practice. Acting as if you're already rich means deliberately cultivating the ability to see treasures where others perceive only problems or ordinary circumstances. This perceptual training begins with a fundamental shift in how you interpret your daily experiences. Every conversation you have contains seeds of opportunity if you're listening for them. Every challenge you face can become a springboard rather than a barrier. Every person you encounter might be the connection that opens a new door if you're open to that possibility. What's fascinating about this process is that wealth doesn't arrive only through obvious monetary channels. True abundance flows through the correct perception of reality itself. When you train yourself to recognize value, connection, and opportunity in everyday encounters, you essentially reprogram your opportunity recognition software. Think of it as developing a specialized form of vision, like how a skilled gemologist can identify valuable stones that an untrained person would walk right past. With practice, you begin noticing potential partnerships where others see casual conversations. You recognize market gaps where others see only crowded spaces. You perceive timing advantages where others see only delays. The blueprint for developing this heightened perception is surprisingly simple, though it requires consistent practice. Begin by questioning your automatic interpretations of daily events. When facing a challenge, ask yourself, where is the opportunity hidden in this situation? When meeting someone new, wonder, how might this connection serve both our highest good? When encountering an obstacle, inquire, what valuable lesson or redirect does this provide? These questions act as perceptual pivots that literally change what you're capable of seeing in your environment. Over time, this practice rewires your neural pathways to automatically scan for opportunity rather than limitation. Share new vision activated in the comments if you've recognized how your perception might be filtering out the very opportunities you've been asking for. As we continue this journey of transformation, we arrive at what may be the most underestimated power in the entire abundance equation: gratitude. Most people have been taught to view gratitude as merely a polite sentiment, a social nicety, or at best, a positive psychological practice. But what if I told you that gratitude isn't just a nice feeling, but an actual energetic force that activates dormant abundance channels in your life? This revelation transformed my understanding of manifestation completely. Gratitude isn't something you practice after you receive what you want. It's the very catalyst that brings your desires into physical form. When you express genuine thankfulness, even for seemingly small things, you're not just acknowledging what you have. You're sending the universe a clear, energetic signal. I am aligned. I recognize and appreciate what exists in my life now, and I am ready to receive more. Think about what happens on a quantum level when you shift from complaint to gratitude. Your entire electromagnetic field changes. Your brain chemistry transforms. Your perceptual filters recalibrate. This isn't metaphorical, it's measurable. Studies have shown that sustained gratitude practices actually rewire neural pathways, activating the brain's reward centers and reducing stress hormones that block abundance. Behind the scenes of every major breakthrough in my life and in the lives of thousands I've worked with, there was always a moment when gratitude preceded manifestation, not the other way around. It was the grateful mindset that opened the channel for greater abundance to flow, not abundance creating gratitude. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the garden metaphor that perfectly illustrates how this process works. Imagine your mind as a fertile garden where each thought you plant grows into corresponding experiences in your life. The seeds you plant with gratitude bloom into opportunities, resources, connections, and wealth. But the seeds planted with complaint, criticism, or fear produce thorns, blockages, and obstacles that choke out prosperity. This isn't just poetic language, it's a practical illustration of how your consciousness creates your reality. When you consciously cultivate gratitude, you're essentially changing the soil composition of your mental garden, making it infinitely more receptive to abundant seeds. Most people unknowingly sabotage their manifestations by spending hours focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, what's frustrating in their lives. They're literally fertilizing weeds and then wondering why their garden isn't producing the fruit they desire. The master gardener knows better. They focus their attention and appreciation on what's growing well, which naturally creates conditions for more growth. I remember working with a client who was stuck in a scarcity loop despite trying various manifestation techniques. The breakthrough came when she committed to a radical gratitude practice, 30 days of focusing exclusively on appreciating what was already working in her finances, no matter how small. She started with being thankful for the ability to pay her electric bill, for the free coffee at her workplace, for the library card that gave her access to resources. What happened next seemed miraculous, but was actually the natural result of her energetic shift. Unexpected opportunities began appearing, a refund she didn't know was coming, a perfect side gig that aligned with her skills, a connection that led to a significant career advancement. None of these were random. They were the direct manifestation of her gratitude vibration, reorganizing her reality. The blueprint for activating this principle in your own life is surprisingly simple, though it requires consistency. Begin each morning by identifying 3 specific things you genuinely appreciate about your current financial situation, no matter how challenging it might appear. Feel each one deeply rather than making a perfunctory list. Then add this powerful statement: thank you for all that's coming to me now. Thank you for the abundance and prosperity flowing toward me in expected and unexpected ways. What's remarkable about this practice is that gratitude doesn't depend on your external circumstances. It's a choice you make regardless of what appears in your bank account. A grateful heart will always attract more reasons to be grateful, creating an ascending spiral of abundance in all forms. If you're recognizing how your relationship with gratitude might be transforming your financial reality, share Gratitude Activated in the comments below. With gratitude as our foundation, we now approach one of the most powerful creative tools in the universe: visualization. Have you ever stopped to consider that everything human-made in your environment was first imagined before it existed physically? Every building you see, every device you use, every business that serves you, every work of art that moves you, all began as a thought held with conviction in someone's mind. This revelation completely transforms how we understand creation. Visualization isn't some optional manifestation technique. It's the fundamental process through which all human achievement comes into being. It's the bridge between the invisible world of potential and the tangible world of experience. When you close your eyes and vividly see yourself already living your abundant life, your mind begins reorganizing neural pathways, perception filters, and energy patterns to align with this new reality. What happens during visualization goes far beyond positive thinking. Your brain literally cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. The same neural networks fire, the same biochemical responses occur, the same electromagnetic frequencies emanate from your being. This is the hidden science behind what mystics have known for millennia, that consciousness precedes physical manifestation. I remember working with a client who had tried numerous strategies to transform her financial situation without success. The breakthrough came when she developed a visualization practice so detailed and emotionally rich that her nervous system began responding as if the abundant life she imagined was already her reality. Within months, opportunities and resources that perfectly matched her visualized future began appearing seemingly out of nowhere. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the mechanics of mental programming. Think of yourself as both the programmer and the computer. Your conscious mind writes the code through visualization, and your subconscious mind executes that programming in your external reality. When you fully embrace acting as if you're already rich, you're essentially installing new software that generates different outputs. The key distinction that separates wishful thinking from powerful creation is sensory richness and emotional resonance. It's not enough to create a vague mental picture of success. You must engage all your senses in the experience. What does your abundant life sound like? What textures do you feel? What environments do you move through? Who surrounds you? And most importantly, what emotions flow through your body as you live this reality? Each sensory detail you imagine and each emotion you genuinely feel generates a specific frequency in your energetic field. This composite frequency becomes a powerful attractor, drawing toward you the precise people, circumstances, and opportunities that vibrate in harmony with it. The universe operates with mathematical precision. What your mind holds with clarity and emotion, reality must materialize. Behind the scenes of every overnight success is someone who held a vision with such consistency and emotional power that physical manifestation became inevitable. They weren't just hoping or wishing, they were mentally living in their desired reality long before external evidence appeared. The blueprint for activating this principle begins with creating dedicated time and space for visualization that engages all your senses. Close your eyes and truly see yourself living your ideal financial reality. Feel the emotions of freedom, security, generosity, and purpose. Hear the conversations you're having. Touch the environments you're moving through. Make this inner experience so vivid that your body responds as if it's happening now. What's transformative about this practice is that you're not just imagining a different future. You're actually rewiring your neural pathways to recognize and respond to the abundance that already surrounds you. You're tuning your perceptual frequency to match precisely what you wish to experience. If you're recognizing how your visualization practice might be upgraded to create more powerful manifestation, drop Vision Architect in the comments below. As we continue to build this framework for abundance, we encounter what may be the ultimate differentiator between those who merely dream of prosperity and those who actually experience it. Persistence. This invisible force operates as the great separator in the journey of transformation. You can have the most powerful intention, the strongest invisible magnet, the clearest visualization practice. But if you abandon your path at the first sign of resistance, everything you've built begins to dissolve. This revelation explains why two people can apply identical abundance principles with dramatically different results. The universe doesn't reward sporadic effort or temporary commitment. It responds to consistent, unwavering energy sustained through both favorable and challenging circumstances. Behind every overnight success story is a hidden narrative of persistence that often spans years or even decades. Think about the most successful people you admire. When you look beneath the surface glamour, you'll invariably find someone who simply refused to quit when others would have reasonably given up. Their breakthrough wasn't the result of superior talent or fortunate circumstances. It was their relentless commitment to holding their vision despite external evidence suggesting impossibility. I remember working with a client whose financial turnaround took nearly 3 years to manifest. During that journey, she encountered multiple setbacks that seemed to contradict everything she was visualizing and affirming. What distinguished her was her remarkable capacity to maintain her practices, her certainty, and her aligned actions even when her bank account told a different story. The momentum she built through persistence eventually reached a tipping point where her external reality reorganized to match her internal conviction. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring a powerful metaphor that perfectly illustrates how persistence operates in your abundance journey. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall amidst a violent storm. The wind howls with destructive force, rain lashes against its structure, massive waves crash at its foundation. Yet through it all, the lighthouse remains steadfast, its beacon cutting through the darkness to guide lost ships to safety. This is the perfect representation of persistence on your path to prosperity. The storms will come. Doubts will arise, setbacks will occur, people will question your vision, circumstances might temporarily worsen before they improve. These challenges aren't signs that your abundance principles aren't working. They're often the necessary recalibrations that precede major breakthroughs. What separates the truly successful from the perpetually struggling isn't the absence of storms. It's the capacity to keep your inner light burning brightly regardless of external conditions. When you maintain your practices of gratitude, visualization, aligned action, and worthy receiving even when evidence suggests they're not working, you become that unshakable lighthouse that the universe ultimately reorganizes around. The impact of this principle extends far beyond financial outcomes. Developing persistence creates a foundation of inner strength and certainty that transforms every aspect of your being. You become someone who can be counted on by yourself, by others, and by the universal forces that respond to consistent energy. What's fascinating about the journey of persistence is that it's not about rigid, forceful pushing against reality. It's about flexible strength, the ability to adjust your approach while maintaining your core vision. Like a lighthouse that can withstand storms because it's designed to sway slightly with powerful winds rather than standing in brittle resistance, your persistence includes adaptability within unwavering commitment. This quality of sustained focus despite challenges represents the maturation of your manifestation practice. It's the difference between magical thinking and masterful creation, between someone playing with abundance principles and someone embodying them so completely that external resistance becomes merely a temporary illusion. If you recognize the lighthouse quality within yourself, that capacity to maintain your light even when storms rage around you, type unshakable persistence in the comments below. This persistence we've been exploring naturally leads us to one of the most profound shifts in perspective that separates those who merely wish for abundance from those who embody it. The ability to transform obstacles into catalysts for growth. Life is continuously presenting us with tests, challenges, and apparent setbacks. Each problem, each closed door, each rejection is actually serving as a mirror, reflecting your internal state back to you. What most people call difficulty or bad luck, the great masters throughout history have recognized as disguised opportunity. This isn't positive thinking or naive optimism. It's a fundamental reframing that changes how you interact with life's inevitable challenges. The universe isn't trying to punish you or block your progress. It's simply reflecting your own internal vibration and offering precisely what you need for your evolution. Think about how water responds when it encounters a rock in its path. It doesn't stop flowing or complain about the obstacle. It simply adjusts its course, flowing around, under, or eventually over the impediment. This fluid adaptability is exactly how you can approach the challenges on your abundance journey. While others get stopped by obstacles, you can learn to pivot, adapt, and continue flowing toward your vision. I remember working with a client who lost his primary source of income unexpectedly. Initially, he saw this as a devastating setback, proof that the universe was working against him. But through our work together, He began to recognize this disruption as a hidden redirection. The obstacle had actually cleared his path to pursue the business he'd been visualizing, but hadn't had the courage to fully commit to. What appeared as a closed door was actually the universe's way of pushing him toward a gateway that aligned with his highest vision. Behind every challenge is a hidden gift, an opportunity for strengthening your resolve, clarifying your intention, or redirecting your energy toward a path more aligned with your ultimate good. The question isn't whether difficulties will arise on your journey. They absolutely will. The question is how you'll interpret and respond to them. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring a frequently misunderstood power that works hand in hand with persistence: patience. There's a common misconception that patience means passive waiting, sitting idly while hoping something eventually happens. Nothing could be further from the truth when it comes to manifesting abundance. True patience is an active, wise energy that knows exactly when to take decisive action and when to allow the universal forces to work on your behalf. It's not the anxious waiting of someone who doubts. It's the calm certainty of someone who knows that perfect timing is as important as aligned action. Many people grow frustrated and abandon their vision because they don't see immediate results, failing to recognize that the universe operates according to its own divine timing. Think of planting a garden. After placing seeds in the soil, you don't dig them up every day to check if they're growing. You understand there's an invisible process unfolding beneath the surface, roots developing before any visible shoots appear. You continue watering and tending the soil with trust in this natural progression. Manifesting abundance works in precisely the same way. What appears as nothing happening on the surface is often an intricate reorganization occurring behind the scenes, connections forming, circumstances aligning, opportunities developing that will ultimately lead to your vision manifesting in physical form. Patience allows this invisible orchestration to unfold without the interference of doubt or premature action. The revelation that transformed my own relationship with manifestation was understanding that patience isn't a passive state. It's an active decision to trust the perfect unfolding of your vision. Each time you choose trust over anxiety, certainty over doubt, you strengthen the energetic foundation from which your abundance will emerge. As we've explored these principles together, I hope you can feel something shifting within you, a recognition of the power that's been dormant, waiting for you to claim it. This journey of transformation isn't just about financial abundance. It's about reclaiming your natural state of worthiness and aligning with the creative force of the universe itself. What we've discussed today isn't theoretical. It's the practical architecture that has transformed countless lives, including my own. When you begin acting as if you're already rich, thinking, feeling, and moving through the world with the certainty of someone who knows abundance is their birthright, the universe has no choice but to reflect that reality back to you. Remember, your inner magnet is always working, your words are always planting seeds, and your focus is always directing energy. The question isn't whether these principles work. It's whether you'll apply them with the consistency and certainty required for transformation. If you've found value in this perspective and want to continue deepening your understanding of these universal principles, subscribe to our channel. Each week we explore another facet of this conscious creation process, providing practical tools that translate spiritual wisdom into tangible results. I'd love to hear your insights and revelations. If something in this message resonated particularly deeply with you, drop "The universe bends to my certainty" in the comments below. Your voice adds another powerful dimension to this conversation. If you found this perspective helpful, a simple like "lets me know" to create more content along these lines, more tools to help you align with the abundance that's already yours by divine right. There's a video right here that explores how to maintain this abundance frequency even when facing apparent setbacks. Click and continue. With me there as we build on everything we've discovered together today. Until next time, remember, you were born for abundance. The universe isn't testing you, it's waiting for you to recognize the power that's been within you all along.